So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you our star, Stephen Amell.
I thought I had more time. It's okay. Thank you.
I'm going to sit all the way over here.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's try this and see how this goes. Just a secret. No, I'm kidding. How's everybody doing? What's up, man?
So, Stephen, welcome to MCM Comic Con. How does it feel to be amongst the fans today?
Amongst my people?
Yes, amongst your people.
These are my people.
Yes.
Feels good.
Good.
Yeah.
And how are you enjoying the Londonium?
How am I enjoying London?
Yeah.
Oh man. After Los Angeles, no offense, Los Angeles is my favorite city in the world. My third favorite city is Toronto by default, but my second favorite city is London.
Yes. Yes.
My wife and I talk all the time about just coming and living here for a couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome.
You guys, anyone have a couch that's free or? Okay.
I think we've got about 1,200 couches, so take your pick. Okay, so let's go right back to the start, Stephen. Okay, what was it about Arrow that you just, when you read this part, you thought, yeah, I want to do this?
Well, that's a compliment. I was out of work, and I didn't hear about Arrow. My cousin Robbie told me about Arrow. We were at a hockey game on Saturday night, and he goes, "Have you read Arrow yet?" And I go, "What's that?" He goes, "It's based on the Green Arrow." I go, "Who's he?" Sorry. And he goes, "Yeah, I just read the pilot, and I'm gonna go audition for it, but the entire time that I was reading it, I was picturing you, so that's not a good sign for me." That was it. Like, it was just about, it was the right pilot, right opportunity, right time.
You're here. My goodness. So, tell me, what has the most fun you've had playing Oliver Queen?
Have you ever worn a superhero suit?
I don't fancy those, rather.
You would know if you had. Have you?
No, I've never worn it.
It's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really good. Wearing a superhero suit is really.
Is it not warm?
Well, I didn't say it wasn't warm. I said it was awesome. It's awesome and warm. It has two settings. One, sweating to the point that you're worried about your health, or freezing. There's really no in between.
So, tell us then your experience. Because it's not like it's Batman or anything like that. What is it like wearing the suit, like, and moving around and things like that, and shooting arrows?
So the very first time that I put on the suit, it was designed by Colleen Atwood, who, when I went to her home in, I think it was in Malibu, somewhere in the area, I looked up and I'm like, oh, cool. There's the thing that you get when you get nominated for an Academy Award. And she had one of those plaques. And then I looked further to my right and I go, oh my God, that's an Academy Award. She's won the Oscar, I think 2 or 3 times for costume design. And she made the original Arrow suit, which was beautiful if you were a mannequin. But when you actually tried to move, it was all leather. So I couldn't actually reach my arm back to get an arrow from the quiver, which I felt was important. And then also they're now what they call gussets. We have our friend, if you come by my table, Danny, sitting next to Emily, she's part of our costume department. And they put gussets in, basically spandex, in the legs and in the arm, because my first move in my first fight was to get down into a crouching position, which was impossible. And I said, guys, you need to put gussets in the suit. And they go, we can't. Colleen Atwood made it. We can't mess with it. And I went like this, and I go, well, can you mess with it now? I ripped the pants on purpose, because if it had happened during production, it would have been delayed for like 2 hours.
Right, you need to keep it ripping. So, you said in an interview, I like this quote a lot, okay, and I believe it into, the best way to learn is to work. So, what have you learned through your work on Arrow?
How long do we have?
25.
No, we have more time. What have I learned? Man, I used to define success in acting as amount of time spent on set, working. And so by that definition, I've been the most successful actor in the world for the past 7 years because I work like 200 days a year. So what I've learned is I've learned being on set. I don't think that there's a situation now that would intimidate me. I'm not the best actor in the world, I'm far from it. But I've spent a good amount of time on set that I feel like I could hold my own.
Cool, I like that.
Yeah.
You're braver, I guess.
Pardon me?
You're braver, but going out and just doing what
Not braver, calmer.
Calmer, okay.
Right, when they yell action, you get a rush of adrenaline, which, anyone here an actor or a performer? Okay, good. Well, even if you're calm, when they yell action, you get a shot of adrenaline. And which is why, even if you're shooting a scene all day where we're just sitting around talking about stuff, you get to the end of the day and you're tired because adrenaline all day. I've gotten to a point where they yell action, I get that adrenaline, but I'm also calm. That's been the biggest thing for me.
Good. So let's look at your character growth. Did you have an idea of how you wanted Oliver to grow as a character? Did you have a lot of input into that over the
I mean, I'd like to say yes.
Right.
But the answer is no.
Right.
No, I mean, I wasn't joking when I said that I still haven't read a ton of Green Arrow comic books because I actually am waiting to be done before I read them. And for the pilot, it was all about the vision that David Nutter had and Mark and Andrew and Greg. It was all about what they thought. And then from there, I would say that over the course of 7 years, probably a little bit of my personality has creeped into the character because that's how I keep myself sane.
What is that you've managed to creep into the character?
It's none of your business.
We've only got on stage. Rude. Anyway, tell me about those crossover events. What is it like to film those? It must be fun getting everyone else on board.
It's awesome. It's really, really good. The catering and the crafting on The Flash is better than ours, which pisses me off.
Oh, tell us about the catering.
It's so good. Stephen? Oh, good morning. Good to see you again. It's been a year. Would you like that same scramble that's super healthy and tasty for breakfast? Well, you would? Oh, cool. Great. God,
There's nothing wrong with a bit of protein. That's all I'm saying. Protein is good. Eggs are good. But can you tell us anything about Crisis on Infinite Earths? Can you say anything at all?
Sure.
And?
It's 5 episodes. Probably. I don't know. It may be 11. I don't know. I will tell you. Yes, I can tell you stuff.
Yes, go for it.
Crisis on Infinite Earths begins before the crossover.
Okay. And you're bound to secrecy apart from that?
Pardon me?
You can't say anything apart from that?
It begins before the crossover. That makes sense, right? Think about it for a second. Crisis on Infinite Earths basically began at the end of season 7 of Arrow.
Okay.
And it's not going to stop until it's over.
Okay. We'll leave it there. Okay, so let's move on from Arrow. Tell me, what's your take on the DC movie universe? Any favorites?
Nope. Yeah, I like the Nolan Batman trilogy.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen Batman v Superman. I saw it on a plane. That doesn't count. I haven't seen any of the movies.
But
actually.
Nolan is an amazing director. Is that like?
Yeah, he's excellent.
I mean, after you're finished with Arrow, like, what are your plans after that? Like, are you looking to sort of move away from the superhero thing?
No.
You love it?
Would you?
I mean,
no,
yeah,
I don't. You know what? I have my first plan actually.
Go for it.
When I moved to LA, I always wanted to buy a buy a house in California, and my wife and I did in December of 2015. And I think that collectively since then, I've maybe slept there less than 100 nights in close to 5 years.
Right.
I just want to have a regular Tuesday for a second. Very, very lucky. Our kiddo goes to school. It's like a 6-minute walk from our house. I just want to have a little bit of time in LA. It's my favorite city. And I was there for 2 years, and I sort of put down roots. And then I booked Arrow. And I don't spend any time there anymore. So I'd like to spend a little time there. And part of the fun for me with acting is identifying a job, be it Arrow or any job that came before it for me, and really like buckling down and trying to get it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that job is, but I'm excited.
Aside from Arrow, is there a DC character you would love to play in the movie universe? So imagine you could just pick a character.
Pick a villain.
Who?
A villain. I'd like to play a villain. If I'm going to play a decent character again, it has to be a villain.
Why villain?
Because I like villains.
Favorite
I have a favorite villain?
Yeah.
General Zod.
Oh yeah.
I watched Superman 2 with my kid the other day. Oh, he's the best.
What does your little one think of Arrow and all the superhero stuff? Like, do they know, oh yeah, my dad's Arrow?
Yeah, that's what she says. We're still in the pocket where she's convinced that I can actually do the things that I do on TV.
Can you do some? You must have learned some of the things on TV though, like.
Oh, I do most of them.
Yeah. Like you could do, like, sure, there's some skills you've taken away.
Yeah.
What kind of skills have you taken from Arrow?
Archery.
No. I just can't. You know what?
Actually, here's a true story. I went to a carnival. Was it this past summer? I don't think this past summer, but the summer before, and they had an archery game. And I took the first shot, and of course it's a carnival, so you know that the sight is off. It was a crossbow. So I realized that the sight was off, so that the person didn't win the biggest prize. And I go, okay, I get it. And then I took my second shot, and I go, bullseye. And the guy goes, no, it has to be, like, you can't see a tiny bit of a line or whatever it was. And I go, call your manager. Manager comes over and goes, no, sorry. Yeah. I had 4 shots. Third shot, bullseye.
Ooh, yes.
They couldn't see shit about the third shot. And then later in the day, so I got the biggest stuff. It's a unicorn piglet. It's this big, right? And I was there with my buddy Michael, and his daughter was jealous that my kid had a stuffed animal that was 4 times the size of her. And I went back to play to get the bullseye again, and the guy goes, I'm sorry, sir, but we reserve the right to refuse service more than 1 time a day.
I don't like that you did that.
It wouldn't let me play.
The Arrow equivalent of like a mic drop, you just a bow drop. Okay, so I've got a fan question here because I asked on Instagram if anybody had any fan questions, any questions for you. So this is from JackHair15 via Instagram. Which Marvel superheroes would you like to play and why? So specifically Marvel there.
I don't know. I've always, I think that, I don't know that there's been a better version of a character than Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, ever. Which means that I wouldn't want to play that because you're like inferior right off the bat. I don't know. I don't think about that stuff that much. You're never like I didn't set out to play Green Arrow. You know, I don't know what's on the horizon. So I don't know. It's a tough question to answer because I don't think about it.
I've got another fan question here from Victoria Alex V84. My 5-year-old son Dominic wants to know if you really shoot some of the arrows.
For Dominic, Yeah, all of them.
I want to ask you this as well, like, because the fan... Right, okay, the mic's back on. Yeah, all of the Arrows people, every single one. So tell me, the fandom is strong, the Arrowverse. What is the question you get asked most by fans that you're like, oh, this one again? Apart from that Arrow question.
Can't really think of a question that comes to mind. People want to ask about, like, one of the questions that we get a lot is like, why isn't it part of the movies? And to me, it's like, well, I don't really draw a distinction that much anymore from television and film. Like, what's all of the kind of seminal, aside from Avengers, right? Like, the water cooler topics are television, be it the Arrowverse on a much smaller scale, but Game of Thrones, like, when people try to go back through the aughts and think of the defining film, they can't, because the defining film of the aughts was on television. It was The Sopranos, right? So it was Mad Men. It was... So yeah, people are like, why aren't you involved in the movies? And I'm like, why would we want to be? We're doing just fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like the TV stuff. I watch all the TV stuff. I watch all the movies. I enjoy everything.
Yeah.
So it's there for.
I mean, if you could pick between a 2-hour movie or a 3-hour movie, or however long Avengers Endgame was, I think it was like 5.5 hours or something.
6 actually.
I would pick, personally, I would pick 22 or 23 episodes of television that I could just saddle up on the couch and order McDonald's and stuff like that.
And I like you get more character development within the school. I like to see that within different series. You mentioned Sopranos and Mad Men and all those kind of things. Even Breaking Bad and 6 Feet Under and those great shows.
Oh, I'm saving 6 Feet Under, like a bottle of fine wine.
Oh.
And wait, I'm very excited. I'm a big fan of a bunch of different actors on that show.
Okay.
And I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I heard it's the best finale that's ever happened on television.
Right. So if you meet Stephen later, do not spoil the finale, because honestly...
No, spoil it. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
I read a study that said that sometimes something being spoiled and knowing how a story ends actually adds to the enjoyment of watching it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh no, I quite like not having it.
So, I haven't seen Avengers Endgame.
Oh.
I've seen every Marvel movie. I haven't seen Avengers Endgame. And we were doing the premiere of Code 8, the movie that I did with my cousin Robbie. Anyone here at the premiere on Thursday evening? Yeah. Don't spoil anything. And I was at the LA after party, and I turned to this guy, because it was the day that Avengers came out, and I go, have you seen Endgame? He goes, yeah. I go, how's it end? He goes, I can't tell you. And I go, no, I don't think you understand. I'm not going to be able to see it for several weeks. Like, I still haven't seen it. It's been out for the better part of a month. Please tell me how it ends. He goes, are you sure? And I go, yeah. I go, don't get into the weeds. If you had 15 seconds to tell me how it ends, how does it end? He goes, and he told me, and I go, thanks.
And you started watching?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Can't wait. You guys want to know how it ends, or no? Never mind, I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask one more question. I'm going to say this to you guys. If you've got a question for Stephen, there's going to be fan questions, right? There's mics on either side here, so start. Oh my goodness, there's some keen beans over there. This side of the room are like, this side of the room are all about it. There's 2 mics here, there's a mic there as well. So start queuing up, okay? And I'm going to ask, I see your hand there as well in the front, and I'm going to ask one more question, or a couple more questions. So I'm going to ask you, this is just a random fun question for you before we launch in here. I saw some videos, and I'm a big WWE fan. Love WWE. My era was more like the Hardy Boys, stuff like that. Like, I love the Hardy Boys. I'll
tell you a Hardy Boy story backstage. It's not important.
Oh yes, please. Yes.
You know when they came back at WrestleMania?
What was that?
When they came back at WrestleMania, when they came back to WWE.
Yeah.
When the crowd went crazier than the crowd went in Orlando at any point during the show.
Right.
Yeah, I was going pee when that happened. I literally left my seat.
No.
And my buddy and I were in the bowels of the stadium, and all of a sudden you hear this crazy roar, and then we heard the music, and I turned to my buddy Zacho and I go, the Hardys just came out. They just came out. We rushed back, but we missed it.
Now, my question was, if you, again, it's a daft question. If you had to have a wrestler name, apart from your own name, what would your wrestler name be?
The Green Arrow?
We are there. We'll accept. We accept, right? Yes. Okay. So we've got some fan questions. There's a lady here with her hand up first. So I don't know if we can get a mic down to this lady here right in front. So I'm just going to come.
Which one? Where?
Right here. She's got her hand up. I think it's hand. Yeah. There we go. Oh. Love to get any more. Go for her.
Was your proudest point raising the money for Them Seriously and F Cancer?
So thank you. Let's see. My daughter went to the Harry Potter tour yesterday. Yeah, she did. We had to bring a couple of extra pair of pants, but she really enjoyed it. It was excellent. The question was, I don't think that the Sincerely campaign or the F Cancer campaigns were necessarily my proudest point, but having a platform and being able to be philanthropic and raise awareness for causes that are important to me, it's just awesome. It's really cool. Thanks for your question.
Thank you very much for your question. So let's do turnabout, okay? So this side were very enthusiastic. You guys were like, like itching. So we're gonna start here and then we'll go over here. So you first, sir.
Okay, so you talk a lot about Game of Thrones on Twitter. I just wondered what you thought of the finale and which villain you identified with the most.
Which villain?
Yeah.
I don't know about which villain, but here's a good Game of Thrones story without spoiling anything. My friend Mackenzie, her favorite character is Patrick. And I was at Toucans in Soho, best pint of Guinness in London, apparently, according to Paul Blackthorne. And as I was walking into the bar, I heard some guy go, "Yeah, my buddy, hey, I played Patrick on Game of Thrones." And I go, "Excuse me, pardon me? You know Patrick?" He goes, "Yeah, he's my mate." I go, "All right, cool, man. Every single pint that you have here today is on me. Whatever you want to order is on me. My friend Mackenzie, here's my phone number." I gave it to him. I go, "My friend Mackenzie, Patrick is her favorite character. Can you please ask him to record a video for her?" By the way, no pressure. If you can do it, great. If not, pints are still on me. We high-fived. I went back out. 2.5 hours later, this dude recorded like a 75-second heartfelt video for Mackenzie as he was walking through the streets of Manhattan. I've never seen someone laugh and cry at the same time harder than Mackenzie did. And it brought me back to, like, every once in a while I get to do that. So I'm glad that he's a good dude.
He is.
He's a good dude. But Game of Thrones, man, oh jeez. I don't know what my favorite villain is, but I was definitely rooting for Dany to do what she did in episode 5.
Right, you guys know what
Sorry.
thank you very much for your question. And yes, Patrick is a lovely bloke. Off you go, over here.
Hi. Funny you were mentioning the video thing. Me and my husband are massive Arrowverse fans, but he's not here. He's home with my 4 kids. Could I record a little video saying, "Terry, you failed this city"?
Yeah, are you ready?
Silence, please, when we record this video.
You good to go? Terry, it's good that you're home with the 4 kids, so you haven't failed the whole dad thing, but you have failed this city.
I'm a massive Doctor Who fan. I'm just wondering if there's any John Barrowman stories we haven't heard.
Yeah, there is. It involves a restroom in Orlando, and it's his story to tell, not mine. It happened like 4 days ago.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to the left side of the room here. Hello, go for it.
Hi Stephen,
Hi.
It's lovely to see you back in London. I know you said that London is your second favourite city, but try visiting Glasgow, because you'll be bored.
I haven't been to Scotland,
Oh, yes.
and I would like to go.
I'd like to second that about Glasgow, please.
I have a sofa if you want to come visit anytime.
Do you have a couch?
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is, throughout the Green Arrow, you first of all started off as a vigilante, and you were almost like the good bad guy, and then towards the end you worked alongside the police and you were the good bad guy. So which aspect of it would you enjoy more? Being the vigilante or working in tandem with them?
I've always gravitated towards characters where there's a little bit of moral ambiguity. I don't care if you think that Oliver's a good guy. I don't care if you think that Oliver's a bad guy. I care if you don't care. That's what bugs me. So a lot of times people will get upset. They'll go, well, the character development, I feel like there's a regression. He's a flawed guy. And I've said this multiple times, like there's a part of me that, reads the scripts for Arrow, that like wants everything to work out, but there's a bigger part of me that I have coined, and it's weird to talk about myself in the third person, evil story Steve. I like the worst things to happen. Like I really like, I want Oliver to do terrible things. Sorry. I do. That's me, because I find that interesting. That's why I wanted Danny to do what she did in episode 5.
I prepared when you were the vigilante rather.
There was something cool about that, right? There was, and that's difficult to do on a network television show. To be a character like I was in season 1 and season 2 a little bit, unapologetic, lethal. That's cool.
Can I ask one favor as well?
Sure.
Quickly.
My best friend, my girls in front of you.
You?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Let's go over this side of the room. This gentleman here. Hi.
Sorry.
Hey.
What? Sorry.
Don't worry, it's only Stephen.
No. I was wondering. I'm Jacob Abada. Who's your favourite character in the Arrow series? Who's your favourite other team member in the team of Arrow?
Good question, thank you.
Tony?
Okay, next question. We're flying over here. Lady, the blonde lady here. Go for it.
My favorite villain in the history of the show? Prometheus.
Okay, over here. Swing away. Yes, question please.
Hello.
Hey man.
It's an acting question. I'm an actor. What sort of method do you use when performing as an Arrow?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of different things that you can do as an actor. One, there's the whole audition thing, which I think that people need to focus more on getting the job. Like, imagine like it's a job interview. And then when it comes to performing, for me, it's all about not having too firm an idea of what you want to do in a scene. That's one thing if you're doing a stunt sequence and there's moves that you have to make and you have to like hit specific points of choreography. But for me, when I'm performing a scene as Oliver or just in general, it's about knowing your lines but not necessarily having a firm idea of what's going to happen, because if you have a firm idea but you're in a scene with someone else, then you're not paying attention.
Cool, thank you very much for your question.
Thanks, man.
Stephen, you have been bloody wonderful. Thank you very much. But you're going to be here tomorrow again, right?
I'm sleeping here tonight.
Right there, on the sofa.
Yeah.
Yes. So
We're gonna mash them together. unless someone lives close by with a couch, then I'll be there.
Well, as I said, I think you got about 1,200 couches out there, a little head.
Very good.
So, Stephen, we're going to see you tomorrow for the Arrowverse panel. So if you guys had any questions, there will be a chance to ask them again tomorrow. We're going to be clearing out the stage, by the way, for the next panel. Stephen, you are awesome. Thank you so much. Can we have the biggest round of applause?
Thank you guys. That's all everything.